This time on Whatever We Want, we talk about
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Spoilers major, huge big spoilers ahead. Do not continue watching this if you do not want it spoiled, and you do not want it spoiled if you have not seen it. So don't watch if you haven't seen it.
This is one not to get spoiled.
This is our review and reaction to the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. Their time codes down in the description. If you'd like to jump around the different points in the episode, we talk everything from the insane amount of Easter eggs to
who's Gwen's captain
and some theories for the future. Enjoy! Welcome back to Whatever We Want. We review content across all mediums and media, movies, TV shows, video games, and beyond to give you the most interesting behind-the-scenes insights, storytelling techniques, all that jazz, and more.
We go over everything from Disney, DC, Marvel. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. All right, my guy.
Daniel, thank you for holding down the fort last week.
Brother.
I'm actually, I feel like it's a blessing in disguise that I was like sick and we couldn't record. You can also still kind of hear my voice, so I apologize.
Yeah.
For those who don't know what's happening. Last week we were going to record our Spider-Verse episode, and then I got like sick. This is so much better than what I was when the day we were going to record, because I saw it Saturday night and we were going to record Sunday. I was going to edit all day, and I woke up Sunday and I literally could not speak. I actually recorded a clip to like prove it. I'll put that in here. Boosh.
This is me trying to talk. This is the day we were gonna record. I'm just showing you. This is why we're not recording.
Oh wow, that was a crazy clip, Daniel.
Yeah, you were a little horse. I'll call you Jeremy.
A little horse, like the horse from Spider-Verse. Is that the one you just said, or no?
Well, no, that would be Widow. But yeah.
Okay, but I think it's a blessing in disguise. Because I'm like so excited to talk about this, so sad we can't do it.
Well, dude, that's why I was like, this is the one that you got sick on. I was like, brother, come on, man.
But I think it gave us time to like, for me to like sit with it and really process my thoughts and organize them in a way. So like we're doing it justice instead of just like trying to shoot it out Sunday. So like I'm kind of very excited.
And I did technically watch it a second time.
Oh, you did? Wait, how do you technically?
So.
Oh gosh. Oh, is that the like sped up version?
No, it was the live. There's the TikTok live thing.
Oh.
I was just scrolling on TikTok.
Oh, that's what that was. Because you sent it, and it to me just said this live has ended. And I was like, why did you send me a live video?
Because it was
the whole.
It was Spider-Verse. Yeah, and they're like just streaming. I'm like, this is illegal,
so
but like
admitted to participating in pirating.
But like it's here, so I'm just gonna watch it. So I was working and then like having it on my desk, and then like. Eventually got to a point where I just had my phone like in front of my face, and like I completely stopped working because I was just like,
"Oh my
gosh!" But it's funny to say that. Have you seen it a second time yet, or no?
No, but I'm planning on seeing it.
It's
like this weekend, potentially Sunday.
I want to say it's even better on the second viewing. Honestly, even with it being on
TikTok,
TikTok,
catch more.
Yeah, because you're understanding more about the people's perspectives, given like the state of what they know of Miles and everything. Yeah, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that,
Daniel. Yeah. So
yeah.
What did you just think overall?
It is the best Spider-Man movie ever.
Really? Yes. I didn't like this movie, actually. I'm just kidding.
I was about to fucking like slap you across the screen.
Dado, I literally can't. I left the movie speechless. Like I saw the movie Saturday night, then woke up Sunday and couldn't talk. Like, it literally took my breath away. Like literally.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, I freaking love this. You're saying it's the best Spider-Man movie ever.
Yes. Well, here's my reasoning for that. Right, the original Spider-Verse
better than the first Spider-Verse.
Yes, that one was my top rank one out of all the Spider-Man movies, and then this one just topped it, dude. Like this topped it, like in everything.
Gotcha. Sorry, that noise was me moving my trash can over here, so when I have to blow my nose, I can have easy access to it. I don't know if that came across. All right. Yeah, dude, I'm like so excited. Because like again, I feel like I'm just going back to like how this is a blessing in disguise that this is a week late. I feel like on those when we record and then I have to get it out by like a day and a half. I'm like trying to keep it short and concise because I want to be sure I can edit it quickly. For this, I'm like we're recording this on Wednesday, so like I have like an extra few days to edit. So like I'm like let's take our time and just like talk about this movie. Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude! I cannot emphasize enough how much I liked this movie. Like.
Dude, it was beautiful.
And I've seen a lot of people been saying like this is one of those movies where you go to and then you have to go back to real life and you're like, man, like real life sucks. Like it's nothing like this. And like, but like I like wholeheartedly feel that. Like I'm like feeling like I feel like there was some other phenomenon about that like post some movie depression where you're just like, man. Nothing's gonna live up to that now. Like, and like I felt that, but this first Spider-Verse and this blew it out of the water. So now my expectations for the third one are like astronomical.
Well, here's the one thing I'm worried about when it comes to the third one. right?
It's only a year later.
Yeah, it's only a year later, and that apparently they haven't started recording dialogue.
Yes, I have a tidbit on that. So yeah, I heard like some people say, the director's saying that like some people have recorded like some of the dialogue, and then like Haley Steinfeld said she hasn't recorded any of her dialogue yet. I think this is Sony just saying like, yeah, it'll be out a year later. The directors, I heard in an interview, say they have no idea if they're gonna make that deadline. Their priority now is to give just like a short break to everyone that worked on this, because it was such a huge push to get this out. Yeah,
totally valid.
And then they're gonna start attacking Beyond the Spider-Verse, and so the current release is March 2024. I don't know if they're gonna hit that. If we should hold our breath for that, which I'm okay with. If they,
I'm okay with it if they give it the time to get it. Yeah, amazing. You know, ultimate, spectacular, all the Spider-Man, acronym things. Yeah,
yeah. Oh my gosh! Like I seriously was going into this and I was so scared that they weren't gonna be able to live up to the expectations of the first one, and they just like
they blew it out of the water. Dude.
Like when they announced they were doing like 6 visual styles, I was like, is that too ambitious? Like, no. And I mean, like a few of the visual styles were like not in it a lot, like the Legos style, which I want to talk about.
Dude, yeah, the Lego one's cool. Yeah, I really want to get into that one.
Yeah, but like that was only in it for like a minute, which I was okay with. Like I just loved it. That was one of the 6.
But that plus there's like 280 different spider people that they made for this.
Yeah,
dude.
and
like, that's
they
crazy.
have saved some for the next one. This isn't all of them. They said, the director said like, we have more. And like, I'm like, that's so sick.
That's freaking dope.
Like I don't even know what could be in there. I mean, maybe like, I don't know, like Tom Holland. I don't think he was mentioned, but he wasn't.
Yeah, honestly. Like if he does, I don't know if they'd add him to this though, because I feel like the plot wise that'd be problematic. He might be at the end as like an end credit kind of thing.
The PS4 Spider-Man was in this. Well, we'll get into all the that
freaking Year Lowenthal, dude.
I just want to mention up top. So this had $100 million budget, and I looked at this on like when opening weekend. I think it made globally $384 million, which I think like is on track to potentially beat the Mario movie, which just broke all the records for all animated movies. So this might just top that. That was short-lived for Mario.
It's well deserved, dude. Well deserved.
And so there were actually 3 directors on this, and there are 3 different directors than the first one, which I thought was interesting. I don't know like the reasoning behind why, but the 3 directors are Kemp Powers, Justin K. Thompson, and Joaquim Dos Santos. And I did a little bit of research. I do want to get in the movie, but I thought this is really interesting, like a little bit of research into like the history of these directors. So I was like, what gives them like the credibility to do this masterpiece? Like they did a great job, but like, so Kemp Powers, he was one of the directors of Soul, Pixar's Soul. Yeah. This Spider-Verse and Soul are the only 2 movies he has credits directing, and I'm like, dang, that's a good list right there. He actually said he started on this. So what happened was the first Spider-Verse, when that he was working on Soul, and they brought it to Pixar, and like they got an early screening of it like before it came out. So while he was working on Soul, and he was like, this is incredible. And then at the day he wrapped production of Soul, I think they were still in like post-production. I don't know the whole animation pipeline, what stage he was in, but he was still working on Soul. He actually got hired to work on this movie. So he started it right as Soul was like ending. So I thought that was interesting. Justin K. Thompson, this is his only directing credit. So even a step above Kemp Powers with 2.
Dang, dude.
This is a good 100%, shooting 100% right there. But he worked on Kim Possible, the 2003 2D Clone Wars movie, the Powerpuff Girls, and he worked on Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, like all in the animation department in various roles.
Heck yeah.
And he also worked on the Emoji Movie, so I guess he got to pay the bills, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like if there's anything, this wipes that slate clean. Like this completely, I forgive him. And then the last guy, I think this is the most fascinating, Joaquim Dos Santos. He worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. That was like his history. He worked as a character designer, background designer, a storyboard artist, and he started directing episodes in season 3 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. He directed the beach episode, which a lot of people regard as like one of the best episodes. It's like when the Fire Nation people are like all on the beach. He also directed the bloodbending episode, which is also a fantastic episode, and he directed the part 2 of the Eclipse, like that huge mid-season finale. Like, yeah,
Big hits, dude. Jeez.
And he also directed all of season 1 of Korra, which is like the best season of Korra.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
So that's some serious cred, dude.
Yeah, I trust them. They're also doing this Beyond the Spider-Verse part 2 of this movie, so I trust them. But yeah,
dude.
I just thought that was really interesting and really cool. Okay. Do you want to jump into the movie? Should we talk characters
Yes.
first?
Well, yeah. Oh, I didn't. We could do characters. We could do chronology. Like it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I feel like we could talk about the characters and then like some of their important beats, and then I have another section where we can just talk about like things we missed and like go chronologically through there, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, that works. I mean, we gotta start off with.
I personally want to start with Gwen, actually.
Gwen. I was gonna say,
that's
yeah,
what
no,
you're
that's
gonna
what I was gonna say Gwen, because the movie
man.
started off with her, right? And that's actually a very important point for this film, right? Like it kind of shows like the first one was like really about Miles and like his introduction and him learning how to become Spider-Man, where this one's kind of more in tandem, where it's like both about Gwen and Miles' relationship and how that all kind of comes around to encompass the entire situation of how do we deal with this multiversal threat of the Spot, and how do we get around these canon points?
I've seen a lot of interviews where the creators are discussing exactly that, where a lot of people are critiquing that this kind of ends on a cliffhanger, and not a lot of people, but I've seen a few people like are like, oh, this just doesn't feel like a complete movie, and I think they're just like haters, but
no, dude, it's like a comic. That's the best part about it.
Well, yeah, and also the directors have said, so Miles' story, this is incomplete for Miles' story. That is a fair assessment. But this movie itself is half of Miles' story, but it's Gwen's self-contained story. Like, it starts with her talking about how she isn't part of a band and like how she's a loner, and by the end she forms that team.
She gets that band
and has that band that she's like has formed and is leading, and that's her full culmination in her arc. And that also just encompasses the first part of Miles' story. So yeah, I just think that's interesting. It depends on like how you look at it. I also have an interesting fact. So Haley Steinfeld, she's the voice of Gwen. She actually wore gray contacts every day that she was recording to make her eyes appear blue, because her eyes in real life are brown. She wanted to really get into character and help the actor for Miles like play against someone that had the same eye color as her character. I think that was really cool. Dedication.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm completely kidding. She didn't do that.
I was going to say, that'd be really weird.
She did that for Hawkeye. And in an interview about this, she was like, she was discussing that. She was like, I wish I just would have let the CGI guys do it. But yeah, sorry. I don't know. I thought that'd be a funny joke and didn't really land. You didn't have like a crazy reaction. Like, what? No, that's ridiculous.
Well, I kind of thought it was. I mean, like, think about it. You're not always recording in sound rooms at the same time when it comes to stuff. But either way, you know. I didn't know she even did that for Hawkeye.
I don't even know if Gwen's character has blue eyes.
She does have. Yes, she has blue eyes. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Got it. Do you think we'll get that romantic payoff between her and Miles in the next one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Unless Gwen dies. If Gwen dies in the next one, people are gonna be so freaking mad.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything in regards to that right now. I'm just saying, you know.
I actually I know every time we do a movie, we like talk about future predictions. I personally don't want to. I don't want to predict too much, because I just want to experience it. Like, this is what I don't want to like predict something and then get in my head and be like, oh, like I'm upset
they didn't
that
do
my
that.
Prediction,
like, why?
Or if I predict something, be like, yeah, I predicted that. Like, I want to just experience it for the first time. Yeah. So like maybe we'll just like breeze over that section.
Well, there's one thing I do want to talk about, but something that I don't think anybody. I told you this before. Something that nobody has talked about yet, right?
Yeah.
And I can bring it up now. I can bring it up later. It's about probably our next character, which is Captain Stacy, right? So Captain Stacy, of course, is Gwen's dad, right? Okay. And another big point in this film, where when it came to Gwen, was her having to come to terms with, hey, my dad is Captain, right? How am I going to get around that? Which kind of solved itself when she was
resigned.
Left. Yeah, and then he resigned. But here's a little tidbit.
She avoided that canon event.
Well,
I think that's key.
No, she didn't avoid it. Because here's a little tidbit,
because Peter died?
No. Hear me out here, right? In the beginning scene, this is the thing that nobody's talking about, okay? In the beginning scene where like they're going to the museum because Vulture's there, right?
Yes, which is an awesome fight.
Captain Stacy is talking to one officer that's next to him. He's like, Yuri, what's the situation? Okay, Yuri, if you play the Spider-Man games, is the voice actor. Is the is the police captain. I mean, yes, technically, he's also Yuri Lowenthal is the voice actor. That gets kind of confusing if you think about it. If you're in the studio there, but no. So Yuri in that universe is police captain, and ultimately also becomes Wraith, right? But here's what I am predicting out of all of this, right? Since Yuri in Gwen's universe is working side by side with the captain there.
She's going to be the one that dies?
I think she's going to be the captain, and that Gwen still might have her captain moment in the future.
Interesting. I feel like Gwen is a little far along to have her captain moment. Like, she knows that's supposed to happen, but she is like a few years since she's become Spider-Man that like, I don't know. It's really interesting because, it's really interesting. Yeah, I'm interested to see if they're going to get those canon events or like if their canon events are going to overlap. And I feel like there's just so much. Again, I don't want to predict too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Gwen in this movie. So
yeah,
actually the guy that plays Peter Parker in her universe is voiced by Jack Quaid, who's in The Boys. Yep. I thought that was pretty cool. He did a good job. That dark story was back. That backstory was very dark.
That dark story. Yeah, dude, that dark story was in the back, man. But no, it was really cool seeing like how they actually pulled back from like what they showed in OG Spider-Verse and like were able to like revamp those clips a good bit. And not just with him, but like also with other points too, like when Gwen makes a portal to see Miles first time. And, like I've been seeing like comparison of the shots from like the end of that film and this film. But getting back to the point with Peter becoming the lizard dude, that's like it's just so sad, dude.
I think the villain was Ned, right? Or not
the bully was
Ned.
Like
bully, the villain.
Yeah, the bully was Ned.
Villain.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah.
I also want to mention, I think you've probably seen this, but like Gwen's world, her visual style is just like so awesome. I've seen the interviews. The directors are saying it's like a mood ring, like the colors shift depending on how she's feeling. Like when she's really depressed, like in her room, it's like blue, but like when her dad opens it, she hugs, it becomes like warm. And I think I also saw that like once she tells her dad that she's Spider-Woman, like she demasks because he has the gun pointing at her, the colors like bleed because it's like her worlds are combining. And I'm like, that it's just so sick.
Literally dynamically impressionistic, and I love it so much. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Just
imagine being like Miguel though, going to that world for the first time, and he's just like, ooh, shapes and colors.
Yeah. Dude, imagine Spider-Noir going there. He'd be like, what is that?
Oh my god, dude. Quick, wait. If he did go there, because it's like based on how you're feeling and stuff like that, like would he just make the world black?
Maybe.
That'd be very interesting to see.
I don't know if it's based on, because I think it's from Gwen's perspective. Like maybe if we were in his perspective, we'd see that. But like everything around her is from her perspective since it's her world.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know if he, like maybe if she impacts her that way, it might reflect that in the world. But I don't know if like his specific.
I'm just saying, like imagine if it was from his perspective and all that. Dude,
Yeah.
that'd be dope. But anywho, sorry, tangential. Let's keep her going.
Back to the tank. Miles Morales. Yeah. Miles Morales.
Which one are you talking about, Jake?
I'm talking about the main one. He's the original anomaly, and is the Prowler, like we see in the cliffhanger, in the universe 42. When did you figure out like that he was like in the wrong
as soon
universe?
as it came up on the machine, before he was even there, as soon as it scanned his eye.
I missed that. Like I didn't notice until she said like who's Spider-Man. I was like, oh no.
No, dude. As soon as I saw it said Earth 42, I'm like, it's going to his other universe because of the spider bite. And then it like explained that later. I was like, oh my god, that's so perfect. That's so great.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've seen this too, by the way. There's that one moment where it's like the spot like flashes or whatever, like when like they combine.
And the spider was about to bite Miles from that universe.
Yeah, the spider was about to bite. 42 Miles. Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that in like a few frames. That's so sick.
But here's my question for you, Jake.
Yes.
Right? Do you think if 42 Miles was bit, do you think he would be a good Spider-Man, or do you think he'd be like a bad Spider-Man, all the power, no responsibility?
I think he would have been. I think it's tough to tell without knowing his backstory. I think he would have been good, because I think he was supposed to, and I hope. I don't know. I think if he would have had those canon events, he would have been steered the right way. Like that was the course he was on, to have like his father, the captain, pass, and like kind of like his Uncle Ben, and or like the captain or whatever. I don't know. And then
I feel like his dad would have been his Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I think he would have been on the right track, but because he didn't, I think because he wasn't bit by the spider is why he became bad. Is like I think he would have been good the other way, and that's what Miguel is like upset about, because now this universe is left without a Spider-Man. I think he would have been decent, maybe not as good as our Miles from our universe that we're seeing, but I think he would have been good. Do you not?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it'd go either way because when it comes to the storytelling of it, there's a lot of good ploys there. Where if he was going to be good, that means that whole world is literally in peril because of it's not even Miles' fault, but it's because of Alchemex and then pulling the spider from there, right?
Because of Spot.
And inversely, you could also have amazing storytelling in the sense of imagine a world to where you have Spider-Man.
A bad
And again,
Spider-Man.
it's all that power but no responsibility, right? So he's still acting as like his uncle, maybe Uncle Aaron would have still been the Prowler then, right? And then they're working cohesion to do stuff, right? You know? So
perhaps. All right, so Miles, I think the true villain of Across the Spider-Verse was not the Spot, it was not Miguel, it was
the Bagel.
No, it was Miles' roommate. If he would have just called the
cops,
all of this would have been avoided.
He's the rat. He's the rat from Endgame, dude.
Also,
oh my god.
Also, that guy, his roommate, is voiced by Peter Sohn, who is directing Pixar's Elemental and voiced Socks in Lightyear. So I thought it was a pretty cool.
That's pretty
He's
cool.
the villain of this story.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. That's such a valid point, though.
If he would have just called the cops,
he's stealing his kicks and didn't call the cops, dude.
Yeah.
Because he was playing Spider-Man, which is also a funny thing.
Yeah.
Because he was playing the Spider-Man PS4 game.
So if he wasn't playing Spider-Man PS4, he would have called the cops, and the Spot wouldn't have escaped and went to other dimensions, and all of it could have been avoided. But yeah. I do like that Miles in this story is more competent, has come into his own, has his own style. Yeah. And literally takes on all the Spider-Man at the end, which is so sick. I really like that because in the first one, it was a really cool origin story, like him learning and becoming confident with himself. I'm glad that we've jumped a year, whatever it is, a year and a few months, and he's has more ability. I think that it was really cool and just fun to watch him. Him and Gwen just swinging around that city, dude, was pure serotonin. I could watch that all day. All day? Yeah. Speaking of that, to reference I just made to New Girl, we have Peter B. Parker, who's voiced by New Girl actor Jake Johnson.
Yep.
So
coming back to reprise his role, and now he also has his little baby girl Mayday.
They kind of nerfed him, but I understand why. This was one thing I said. I think I said to you, and I said to my roommates. I don't know who. I might not have said it to you, but I was worried that Peter's story, I love this character, and I knew Peter's story was really wrapped up in Miles, and in the first one, him accepting that he wants to have a kid, and now that is complete, there's not really much room for him to grow, which is fine, and I'm so glad he's in it, but they reduced his role a bit, which I'm sad because I love that character, not because it was poor for the story. I think it was right for the story. But I love that character, so I'm always sad to not see more of him. But he was used really well in
I totally agree, and I think he was used superbly, especially when he pulled away and was able to have that moment with Miles.
Yes.
Mid-chase. That was really good being able to have that moment with him and touch him there with that. That also leads me to something I saw in another, it's not really a theory, but kind of a question about what might happen technically. Because he's talking about Mayday, right?
Yes. And
ultimately he's I had her because of you, right?
Yeah.
It's not a canon event thing that Peter has a canon or Mayday or whatever like that. But what that really does is show that Miles is kind of the idea of new things can happen. Right?
Yeah, because he's an anomaly, and then if Peter's saying this happened because of him, the anomaly, it shouldn't have happened, and the world's not falling apart, then something's up there, something's not adding up. Miguel.
But on top of this, if you think about it, right, Miguel's points to when it came to the Spider-Man of Earth 1610, the original Peter there. He
the one voiced by Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, yeah.
Okay.
He probably already had his moments, right? His canon events. Yeah. So if you think about it,
So this could be something completely new.
Miles saving his dad actually cause a paracausal anomaly of breaking the canon.
Interesting. Probably not, because that's a very good point. I didn't even think about it that way. That the canon events in that universe have happened. Miles
he's an anomaly,
not the Peter Parker, the first Spider-Man. So does he have to have the same canon events as all these other Spider-Men since he's the second one in this universe?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You see what I'm saying?
Wow, maybe that's the key.
I feel how things are going to be going later on. I think that is ultimately going to be the key to where, because he's such an anomaly there that canon doesn't necessarily abide by him.
Interesting.
Now, obviously, it did in cases when we got to Moonbatten, right, and he prevented another one from happening.
Yeah, like if he's preventing other Spider-Mans and like canon events, that's an issue because that's like that's a good point. Like that Moonbatten Spider-Man's the first one, so he has to go through these events according to Miguel's math and science and whatever. But yeah, I guess Miguel's probably not accounting for that. Like, yeah, that Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man in
also,
Miles universe had his canon events, so that's why the world's not like exploding.
Yeah, exactly. And Earth 42 never had a Spider-Man, and technically there's no canon events going on there.
So basically, like it's like that ball hasn't started rolling yet. Like maybe if there was a Spider-Man and then he like died, then maybe that would be an issue, like without having any canon events. But maybe it's just like there still could be a Spider-Man in that universe. It's just delayed a little bit since it didn't bite Miles in that moment.
Yeah.
Interesting. That is a way it could work. And I love how we're like, we're not going to predict. And we're like, oh, we haven't figured it out.
Well, but that's a key point that I thought was important to bring up.
Yeah.
That's like the whole thing that this thing's based off of, is these canon events. I also love seeing all the memes on TikTok being like, bro, don't pour that water. It's not a canon event.
Yeah,
nah,
no,
man. I'm going to do my own
minor
thing.
Inconvenience I have now. Like, I missed the bus. Guess it's my canon event. I just have to go through these hardships.
This is other ones like it is what it is got nerfed, but it's my canon event, or it's a canon event got buffed.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah.
All right.
We should get back on track with characters.
Yeah, back to Tank. So I'm gonna talk about Miguel O'Hara next, Spider-Man 2099. Dude, possibly my favorite character. Like, oh my gosh. There was like a slight design change from the post credits of the first one to this.
Major
next
design
one.
change.
I've also heard a crazy theory. I don't personally think it's true, but I've heard a theory that it's two different Spider-Man 2099s. Like, that's why they look so different. Like, maybe the first one is like actually kind of a good guy, and the second one, like, it's taken over being a bad guy. Maybe that's why they're so different. I personally think it's just that, like, the first one
design changes over.
Yeah, design changes, and also he's just been like, time like has just shoveled him, because in the first one he was still like young and chipper, and that was in the end of the first one, the post credit, he just gets to watch, so that's when he can first start traveling. So
he didn't start taking the role of the other Miguel yet.
Yes, exactly. So I think he was like more jovial, like had more hope. And then between that movie and this movie, he tried to insert himself in that other universe, lost everything, and now that's why he has this huge like chip on his shoulder compared to the first one.
That's a solid point. I didn't even think about that, because technically that means he legitimately tried to do, because again, after the first movie, you're like, oh, he went to the Earth 63. And then
60s Spider-Man.
Yeah, the 60s Spider-Man.
Who makes an appearance in this is so funny. Just slowly swinging.
Oh, no, I missed. But no, like, that's weird to think about, because that means he would have been like, okay, I can do this. I want to go live this other life. And then, oh man, that is really weird. Yeah.
I know, dude. I also saw, I don't know how true this is. Is it true that Miguel doesn't have the stickiness or is that just not right? Like, he uses his claws instead?
I think
like, I don't know if that was a joke or not.
He has sticky, but he also has claws.
Okay. I think I saw a joke where it was like the reason his back is so massive and like yoked is
because he has to
because he has to use his upper body strength, like he can't stick. And I'm like, I mean, if that's true, that's canonically a good reason.
Dude, that's why he has the swords, dude. He could just cut into things and all that.
Dude, I could watch him like crawling up that speeding hyper train like all day. Like,
dude,
oh my gosh.
Well, dude, him crawling up, but also him like grabbing it as Miles kicked him off and re-grab. Oh my god. Yeah.
I saw when he was like looked like an animal cheetah like running up it. Some of the style frames literally have like our storyboard frames. Like, they have the storyboard markings on them if you just like pause for it's like so sick. Oh my gosh, his fangs.
I keep on seeing this meme around. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
It's just a tangential thing. We're going to get to Miguel in a second here. But I saw that there was an ice cream popsicle Spider-Man.
Yes, I saw that too. There's that, and there's a plushie Spider-Man as well.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And I love Peter parked car. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. No.
And the T-Rex.
I saw that for the Peter Park car one. There was like, was his canon event the death of Uncle Ben's?
Uncle Ben's, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it got totaled or something.
Oh my god. But no, with Miguel, dude, I also love that the changes that they made to him were actually like largely functional for when it came to like how his suit worked. Because like standardly with his design, like he has like the little like like fin things on his forearms, and but they made them like retractable swords. Like he's able to like bite into things and do stuff like that.
It's just
and the
so
fact that like his
sick.
suit was still like unstable molecule, like, and that Miles was then able to tap into
drain
that.
the power.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that kind of stuff.
That whole effect was really cool. Also, sorry, I just want to mention again, going back to Miguel, his like how at the end of the first one he hadn't even started his plan. He's done a lot of freaking work in like a year and a half, however long it's been. Like he lived that other life with his family. Like apparently that got destroyed. The universe got destroyed. Then he recruited every other single Spider-Man and created this like spider society all within like a year.
Well,
that's crazy.
You're not also thinking about enter time.
Yeah,
right? It could have been like a year for Miles and Gwen, everyone else, but it could also have been like I don't know, 2-3 for him.
I'm just saying he's a go-getter. I'm believing it's a year.
Yeah, you destroyed a universe in a year. Congratulations, Miguel.
Big year for him.
Jeez.
New year, new him, new me.
Oh my god. But yeah, dude, that was freaking devastating. That playback too, of like when the whole place was collapsing. Also reminded me a lot of What If.
Yes.
With the Doctor Strange
episode 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm happy that they're keeping that uniform look and feel for like how they're describing visually how these things can happen. Like the collapse of the universe and all that.
Yeah, also just the timeline, like it was like the tree reminded me a lot of the Loki timeline, like kind of very similar.
That was directly what they were referencing there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Should we jump into... I mean, I feel like we should talk about like Nueva York and also like the Spider-Man, just that HQ and all that. And then we can get back to characters. I mean...
Yeah. So, dude, that place was beautifully designed. I also love there's a comparison between
littered with Easter eggs.
The shot of Miles doing the leap of faith and him rising, but it's flipped, so it's like he's going down the city, versus him entering the Spider Society to where he's upside down, but he's going down, right?
Yeah.
So it's like his descent into madness and like all the craziness is about to happen. So I think that was pretty cool comparison of the shots.
That was awesome. It's also just that idea itself of like an elevator that you have to stick to the bottom is like the best security measure because like only Spider-Man can get in. Really? Yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, dude.
Ben Reilly.
Dude,
Scarlet Spider.
I loved his design, like the McFarlane.
His design was awesome.
Style, and also just the way that the shading was done too. I saw that they first actually did it with Miguel, actually like this the new like tone shading with like the dyne lighting.
It was like dialed to 11 on him though.
Yeah, but they literally that's what they did. They took it, put even more on him, just like yes. And I also love just like his character too, just like how funny he was. It's like perfect pose.
Some people were like upset they like comic relieved him too much, but I didn't really mind it. Like,
dude, I think it's great. You know,
for that size character.
Yeah,
it was voiced by Andy Samberg. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, dude, it's just like it fits perfectly, and it's just like again, like I don't care that they made him comic relief. I mean, he's not really a key moment character in the thing, right? So I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. I also think it's funny that he's like on the front lines though. Like I feel like if it's Miguel, he'd probably try to pick someone more serious, but like all he has to deal with is like Spider-Punk and it's like Ben Reilly and like oh my god, he must be so tired of like Peters and just like all these like delinquents around him.
I like that he does Miguel in his universe, is there a Peter Parker like years before 2099
from the heroic age? Yes.
Does Miguel then have an Uncle Ben or like a Captain Die?
I think in comics he does, but I could be completely wrong on that. But that also brings up a good point about generational differences between
because that would answer our question about the second Spider-Man. Yeah, that would answer our question or like help inform like be more research for our hypothesis that like because Miles is the second Spider-Man, all the canon events happened already. We could look at Miguel and like maybe Miguel knows something we don't because he is that he's also the second Spider-Man. Like he's the only one that can relate to Miles with that. Yeah, maybe that might be another key. I don't know. But sorry, I completely got sidetracked. So Ben Reilly, I really like. People were pointing out that like he's like just animating or like narrating like the stupidest things. Like I'm now in the alley. Both of these walls look like. But that's exactly how they wrote like the comics, like the internal monologue. Yeah, no,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so it was like perfect and also just so funny seeing like how stupid it actually is when it's said out loud. Oh my gosh. Peter Park's car, the horse. the plushie, the ice cream. Jessica Drew also like Spider-Woman.
Yep.
Like the motorcycle pregnant.
I also like the like competitiveness between her and Peter B, because like they're both trying to like be these mentor roles and all of that.
I love how every time Miles does something, Peter's like, I was his mentor.
I taught him how to do that.
And he's just like, yeah. Oh, also, just going back to like cameos, then we'll get back into like the heavy hitter players. Donald Glover as the Prowler dude.
Dude,
like,
that was
what?
freaking like finally seeing it like full circle, like him as like in Prowler.
Yeah,
outfit.
because
like,
he was the inspiration for Miles originally.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, yeah. Because I think for anyone that doesn't know, I think like back in early 2010s when. Before Andrew Garfield was casted, they announced, like Sony announced they were rebooting Spider-Man because they had to make movies for the deal, like the rights to not default and go back to Marvel. So there was a huge petition like online for Donald Glover to be Spider-Man, and like a lot of people wanted him to be it, but then ultimately went to Andrew Garfield, and then eventually Glover aged out of the role. But like that eventually became the inspiration for the creators of Miles Morales to like create Miles. So like Donald Glover is the reason that Miles exists in comic form and like how we got this, which is so awesome. And yeah, now he's the Prowler in this. I think I was actually watching an interview with the directors. So they were pitching ideas of who should be that live action person there. And they threw around Andrew Garfield was an idea. And then someone threw out Donald Glover's name as the Prowler. And they were like, yes, like that has to be it. And he was down. They filmed it in like a day.
Hell yeah,
so
dude.
Sick. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, dude. See those events, dude. The Josh Keaton, the animated one that was from Disney Plus, the Spectacular Spider-Man.
The Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's like a short king.
Dude, I mean, he's still technically a kid, compared to the other ones. But yeah.
Just with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. So I actually noticed. Tobey Maguire had a couple. I think the one that was the big one that everyone like was highlighted was his Uncle Ben moment, and then the one that Andrew Garfield, his highlight moment was the Gwen Stacy, like Captain Stacy death.
Yeah.
But I also saw Tobey was in like the bottom corner of one. I saw the MJ Spider-Man upside down kiss from his movie was there. And it was like my eye instantly just like went to that, and I was like, and then like I pointed to it to my buddy next to me, and like they all missed it. I was like, guys, it was there. Like I saw it. And then
it's Toby, a canon. The kiss happens every time.
I didn't know if I didn't know actually. I didn't know if that was gonna be like the only time we saw Tobey because that came before we saw his Uncle Ben moment. So I was like, oh my gosh, that was like such a crazy Tobey Easter egg. And they showed him again. I was like, oh, okay. Like, no, he's in this like more. Yeah. So sick. I also saw that like maybe like Tom Holland wasn't in it because he has like no canon events. Like, I don't know.
Well, that, and also I'm just thinking like Miguel's like really pissed off at him. So I'm just like, it's just like, out of all of the demo stuff that we set up for Miles here, don't show that Lila. And he's and she's just like, okay, fine.
We also had the Venom universe cameo when the spot's going all around. PS4 Spidey just like shows up.
Spider-Man Limited, Future Spider-Man. The one that Miles is sticking onto the back of. That's like it's 2099, but he's from the year like either 3000 or 10,000 or something like that. That's why he has all the robot arms and is crazy like that. Yeah. We had Spider Bite. That was the one that was like in the Avatar, and she's controlling the send back home machine.
This isn't a Spider-Man, but there was an Easter egg in Miles' room when Gwen first arrives.
The moose?
It was the wooden moose, which is from the Mitchells versus Machines, which is another Lord Miller project, which is just another fantastic film. Netflix, if you haven't seen it.
I feel like I keep on cutting you off on some tidbits here because I'm just like,
no, you're good.
This was one of the movies where I'm just like, yes,
that you actually did research
I love
for.
All these. Not even that. It's just like, it's just like, yes. I was like, I know it. It's just so good. All the little connections and tidbits and things.
Should we jump back into some of the main hitters?
Main characters? Yeah.
So next I had Miles' parents.
Yep.
I feel like his mom got more of a big role in this, which I really appreciated. Also, I think I didn't notice this until I saw it like on TikTok, but like in Miles' universe, she has brown eyes, and then in the 42 universe, she has green eyes. Just another clue that like something's off. Also, the dad is voiced, like Miles' dad is voiced by the Thomas the Tank Engine guy from Bullet Train. So I think that's pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about his parents?
I'm not sure if you noticed this either, but when it came to Rio, her attire was like in traditional Spider-Man colors.
Oh, okay.
in both universes. So like in
Cool.
1610, she was wearing like a red blouse and like, you know, jeans. And in the other universe, when she's actually first talking to Miles, she's in her scrubs, which are blue, but you kind of maybe greenish hue if I'm remembering correctly because of the, you know, the green that's going on there. And then later she was doing laundry and then she changed over into red. Which is just, I don't know if there's like an intentional choice behind that color choice. It probably was, but I'm just thinking like, it's weird to think about because like
everything was intentional, Daniel.
like she's his mom, but I feel like it would have been more purposeful if she like changed to like a green shirt or something like that to show like, yeah, she's his mom, but she's not like his mom. You know what I mean? Which again kind of goes into like what they do with the eyes, you know?
Yeah.
Or, like,
shall we talk about the spot?
Yeah.
Dude, a lot of people were surprised because everyone thought he was just gonna be like, I mean, like they said, the villain of the week, and then he ends up like going through this incredible arc, kind of like Miles did in the first one, of like starting out low and then like raising in power level, but kind of like flipped, like mirrored like the dark villain route of that, which is really cool because villains don't often get that care and attention. Although he was kind of dropped off by the end,
and he wasn't killed in one movie.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful, you know, it really sets up the suspense of it. Which, again, kind of leads into the point I made before, like, where you said people were mad about, like, the movie ending on a cliffhanger. I'm like, it's literally how comics are done. Like, that's how you get people into, like, your next issue. And that's why everybody's so freaking excited for this next one. It's just, like, because they want to know. I want Spider-Man, you know? It's that it's that energy. But that's the same thing with Spot here, too. It's, like, it's cool to see, like, his evolution into, like, not only, like in the film, but also, like, visually. Like, literally him becoming black with, like, only white squiggles illustrating, like, how much this power and craziness has consumed him, you know?
Yeah. He's voiced by Jason Schwartzman, who played Gideon, the villain in Scott Pilgrim. I think that's pretty funny. Also, he's hit by a bagel. That's like his origin story. A breakfast food with a hole in it, and he's the Spot. So like, whoa.
Yeah. There's also a meme or like a callback to like Everything Everywhere All at Once. Because there's a billboard. I think it was above his building, actually.
Yeah, it's like
Gwen gets
all
there.
the things, all the time, something.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Which is also funny because, like, for the people who've seen that movie, which if you haven't, also go see that because it's an amazing movie. Their multiversal like conduit there is like also the donut, or the bagel, So it's just funny how that's like universal. Like, I don't know why it's like the bagel's just everywhere. That's like our shape now assigned to the multiverse. We're all just living in a giant bagel.
Blue butter bagels. We were ahead of our time.
Yeah, dude. Honestly.
All right. Shall we talk about Spider-Punk? Hobie Brown.
Dude.
I wanted to hate him, but he like grew on me so much and turned me around by the end.
That's how he was designed, dude. If you think about it, because the whole point is like them, like because you want the relationship between Miles and Gwen. And then he keeps on getting brought up, and he's like the other guy, and I'm like, oh, I don't like this guy, but he's such a cool guy. But he's such a cool dude, yeah. And plus, not to mention like the fact that he had Miles' back throughout all of it, you know.
Yes, like, I love that. Yeah,
yes, because he's helping a brother out, man.
Yeah,
you know, he's just
the
with
palms.
Them.
Like he tells him to use the palms.
Yeah, he tells him. Like he's just like it was just like just because like just thinking about that, like all the other Spider-Man are thinking like, oh, he's probably just telling him to like calm down. Psych! He's telling him to freaking break it out, bust a nut, get out of there.
Also, I think like another like small thing is like he's like stealing bits and bobs, and it just looks like he's like sticking it to the man, but he's actually getting pieces for the jerry-rigged wristband that he builds for Gwen later. Also, I think he's animated at like even different frame rates, like in this first
3s
one.
and 4s.
Yeah, and I think like his different parts of his body are like animated like different frame rates through Extra Set, which is like crazy. But I think because like in the first one, a huge thing everyone like freaked out about was like, oh, they're animating Miles on 2s instead of 1s, instead of every single frame, every other frame, to show he's like out of sync with like Peter B. Parker. And so like it was established like 1s and 2s. That's like what they can be animated on. And like because Hobie's like stick it to the man, I'm not conforming to your ways. He's even animated and like going on 3s and 4s, like different frame rates. It's just so sick.
Yeah,
like fundamentally, like how creatively they're showing that, like down to that character design and the frame rate. Oh my gosh.
Even down to like the texturing as well, because like, or I don't know, texturing, color grading, whatever it would be in this case, because like his colors would change. I mean, you like for most of it, you probably like imagine him like the gray tones, like newspaper-esque printing style. But then there's also him like in like again like end of the Mumbattan like Alchemix collapse thing, like he's there in full color, and you see like his suits, like the actual like red and blue and all that kind. And there's other moments like that too throughout, obviously. But it's just cool to see like not only is it the frame rate difference, but it's also like the visual difference of the cutouts and the colorization difference. Like he's literally anarchy and just freaking free spirited to the T, dude.
He's voiced by the guy that was like the main guy in Get Out, also.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. All right, shall we talk about Pavitr? Wait, what is it? Pavitr.
Oh, actually, before we talk about Pavitr,
Pavitr, that's it.
I'm going to say that.
Indian
that's not
Spider-Man.
how you say it by like saying it that way, because like
Indian
Avatar with a P.
Okay.
With the portal that Spider-Punk made, right? This one thing I loved is like it's all of course like the Spider-Punky style, but also that made me like further realize that the one that Miguel's made and that everyone else is using is 2099 style. If you think about it, it's not just like that's a setup for that, but that's very specifically attuned to like his universe, like the stylization of that universe. So it's just interesting to see like how technology might be altered or changed depending on the universe of origin. I thought that'd be a good point to make.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's so true. All right, the Indian Spider-Man. He's voiced by the guy from Deadpool, like the cab driver.
Yeah, Dopinder.
Yeah, and I think his name's Karan Soni. But he apparently they like originally filmed everything or like did the voice recordings, and then like a few months later the creators were like, this isn't like culturally specific enough, like we want them to feel like included and we feel like it's just not landing, so they brought him and like the actor and all the writers back, and they just had like a big brainstorming session, like what can we add like that like makes it more culturally significant to those watching. Like, we want it to be inclusive, not just like a cheap impression. And so they had a huge brainstorming session, came up with a lot of things, and the guy that played him said that he came up with the idea for the chai tea joke, so that came out of that brainstorming session.
That's pretty fun. I also love too during the whole sequence too, when they're like, where they usually have like the onomatopoeia, like bang, pow, wop, whatever, or like thwip. Yeah, I don't know. But they actually did that in Hindi. Like the frames actually had that. That was freaking dope, dude.
Sick. Yeah. That was like the main characters I wanted to like talk about. Is there any more characters you want to talk about before we jump into like plot and specific scenes and other elements?
Mysterio stole my heart.
Whatever you're into, Daniel.
No, I mean I think that's a majority of the big ones. One thing I did really like though is that like I saw in the trailers and stuff like that, you had Spider-Man Unlimited, which I just love that suit. I don't know why, I just love that suit. It's funny because he was actually keeping up in the chase a good bit. Like he was like right there behind Gwen and some of the other, like Miguel at sometimes, right? Which actually canonically kind of makes sense because in Earth 2, the architecture is very similar because it's like very like tall buildings and like very like similar style to that. So I was like, that kind of actually does make sense. Like he's like one of the ones that's like keeping up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, let us jump into some scenes then. I think honestly one of my favorite scenes might have been like what people consider like a simpler, like not as crazy as like all the Spider-Man fighting, but like just Gwen and Miles swinging around New York when they first reconnect. I loved that. Like the music was, dude. I think it was called Mona Lisa. I literally was jamming to the whole soundtrack on the way home from work prepping for this, and like Mona Lisa's just like a bop. I think that's gonna try to be like the Sunflower. I still think right now Sunflower edges it out. That's one thing I'll give the first one above this one. I think it has more iconic music slightly, but these are
the
still
music
incredible.
in this one is still on point.
Like,
I agree.
I mean, the Mona Lisa, and I want to get back to the scene, but also just like tensioning to music, like freaking Miguel's theme, like 2099, like when he comes in. And also like Gwen's theme. Like I've seen like, I think, I'm not even kidding, like 30 TikToks where it's like everyone's talking about this song or 2099's theme, but no one's talking about Gwen's theme. And then like it starts playing like the beat for Gwen's, and I'm like, yes, like it's just so good.
Yeah, dude, I concur.
But back to the swinging around the city, like just them swinging around, it's just having fun, reuniting. It's just like so awesome to see them reuniting after so long. And also like for them in universe and also us, like not having seen these characters, it was just like a nice moment, like not having seen them for so long. Also, I have to shout out the shot where they like do the gargoyle sit, but they walk around it,
and the camera's like
it tracks them.
Yeah.
I literally like at this point I was starting to lose my voice in the movie, like when I was starting to get sick, but I literally I grabbed my friend. I was like,
you're losing your voice during the movie? Like it started out fine at the beginning of the movie, and then throughout.
I was getting sick. We went out to dinner before, and I could feel myself starting to get sick. But I was like, I'm powering through this movie. Like, I don't care. And then
I'm sorry you had to go through that, but that's also kind of funny. Just thinking about like you're going through a metamorphosis throughout this entire film.
I emerged a butterfly.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, like just that shot where they walk around the city and then they're sitting and that whole conversation takes place upside down is something I've never seen before. And also, it's just not possible with any other characters unless you're like Spider-Man that can do that. And that was so sick, and I loved it. And it was just fantastic. Like, yeah.
So you like that stuff, and I agree that's also beautiful. I actually connected a lot with like the moments he had with his parents when he was both Miles versus Spider-Man. Yeah, like I mean, it's funny when there's like the parent-teacher conference thing, and then like there's the be in Spanish, and then I'm not sure if you caught this, but when she snaps like, the Puerto Rican flag, yeah. So that was nice. It's funny too, in like the beginning part where Rio, one of the like snippets, she's like, I think I heard that the new Spider-Man might be Puerto Rican, and then Miles is like, nah, I'm pretty sure he's a Dominican. Oh my god, dude, that fucking spoke to me so hard. Oh my god. But then also like the moments like with his dad, like after they had like the spot thing, and like his dad's like very like like he doesn't know what's going on. Like he's like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I don't know. And then Miles like, you know, he's just like, maybe get off his ass. You know, I mean, somebody has no skin in the game. It just was like so. It was so genuine and so real, like those interactions. Yeah. And also when Rio was like, don't steal him from me. Like, oh my god, dude.
And like, you're calling me by your first name. Okay.
If I could tell you how many times I've seen like my aunts do stuff like that, like that like was Puerto Rican to a T. A T. They nailed it. So that was cool. It was beautiful. It was just beautiful.
Sweet. All right, shall we move on from those scenes? Actually, let's take it back. I do want to talk about all the other fights and stuff, but the fight in the beginning with Gwen, I know we talked about it, but like them working together to save that helicopter, like stop the helicopter from falling against like the vulture, and just like the vulture like he has hammer space, and then like that pops up.
And the little hammer
spaces. Yeah. Like, oh man, and then her dad pulling the gun on her, like just so emotional, dude. Like, I need to rewatch because so much happened after that. That's like the most fuzzy part to me since it happened first. And I know it was so good because I remember I literally watched that and I was like, I know this movie's going to be fantastic now. I mean, I knew it before, but like so much is going to happen that I'm going to forget this. I need to make a mental note not to forget this because this is also incredible. I need to not forget to mention this. So I need to mention that. Like, so good.
I mean, I'd love to see more of the vulture. Also, technically, it'd be funny because remember how they had like the breakdown where it's like, let me guess, you're drinking a cup of coffee or espresso or whatever, and then a portal showed up and you ended up here. It'd be funny to show like if that was like the Italian bar with no name, and there's like that's just where the Italian like bad guys go. Like I don't know, I just think that'd be pretty funny. But two, that also brings up a good point if you think about it, because it's like Vulture got there by a random portal.
Yeah.
And we haven't really seen it. Outside of that, we didn't see any other instances of that in this film because it didn't really lead to the story.
Interesting.
But it might influence how things go in the future. Because if you have the portals between dimensions from the spider people, right? For Miles to get back or to somewhere else, he might find a natural one.
Right. Could that be an issue with... I'm not sure because it seems like in No Way Home, they all only came to Peter's universe. But could that be like something that happened? Because we saw that's how the Spider-Man villains came to that universe, was through that event. So could that event have just shifted someone to two different universes, maybe?
Oh, well, in that case, I feel like it was also largely in part to the spell. It's just the spell was a different method of opening up a portal. Yeah. In that case. So
I'm just saying that could be another potential explanation.
It could be. But yeah,
piece of the puzzle.
You also have to ask the question there about interspace, right, or inter-universal space, because in that case with that spell, right, like is it just opening up like A to B and you're going through? If you're thinking like Portal 2, like,
or could he like fall out?
Or is it, exactly? Is it possible for him to like fall into that interspace and be like, hey,
and then like get
kind of like what happened to Spot when he when he had all of his spots.
And also I'm visually thinking like when in Ragnarok when he's going up the Bifrost escape Hela and it gets knocked into Jeff Goldblum's world. So like something visually similar could happen with that. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we talk about the
Lego?
I think we talked about. Oh yeah, Lego. Also, J.K. Simmons voicing JJJ. across
he
all
voiced him in
universes.
multiple. Yeah.
It's like amazing.
Man's a legend. That's
yeah.
the one canon event that you cannot change.
yeah.
It's always JK.
Did we say the Lego was animated? Did you see that was animated by a kid?
Yeah, so the way that this worked, right? There was this kid animator. He's 14, and he was super excited about some of the stuff when it came to Spider-Verse and all that. So what he did is he taught himself how to animate like Lego Spider-Man,
sick.
and he had these
He did like
beautiful
some of the
clips he put up
trailers,
online.
right?
Yeah,
he
yeah.
reanimated some of the trailers.
But he
in
did like he
Lego.
wasn't just Lego. Like he was doing like all the effects, like the different
Yeah,
like drawing
that's so
cutouts
sick.
and all that stuff for some of the frames. Like he went like the whole extra mile and impressed the director so much. It was the directors, right? That saw it.
I'm not. I know it was just some of the creatives. I don't know exactly.
Yeah,
who
it was
was.
something higher up that saw him and they're like, "Do you want to do this sequence for us?" And then he got hired
Yeah.
on to actually do that specific part, and
Which
it
is
was
also
freaking
so sick because those
crazy.
creatives are the creators of the Lego movie. So like
Yeah.
that's the ultimate stamp of approval that like your Lego animation is good. You know what I mean? Like what?
Yeah, dude. Like think about
Oh
all
my
the stuff that goes
gosh.
into that. Like not like the materials, doing proper lighting, especially when it comes to animating with Lego. Like you're having to understand, like you're limiting yourself to potentially just doing different bricks. Like I love the ones where I see people use like the arc pieces or like the
Yeah.
Talon whatever pieces. I couldn't give you like the specific piece number. I'm not that much of a Lego guy, but you know what I'm talking about? They use those for like smears. I love
Yeah.
that stuff so much, and that's like what the stuff that this kid was doing. Just like, oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
So I also love that Miguel was like, "You're one of the best."
Yeah. You're one of our best. Yeah.
He was also there in the shot with the Peter Park car.
Yeah. He's like really small.
He's like
Yeah.
a pixel.
Yeah, dude, just that, and that. Sorry, that also just leaves me I want to touch again on anything we missed from the Spider-Man 2099 fight, like the basically the last fight. The scenery. This again, that climax of him going up into space and then coming to realize that like they all knew that like this was gonna happen.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he can't trust anyone. He's like, goodbye, Gwen, and then just like the style frames that happen, and then he just flies and like has this plan. Even when he goes to the underworld of like 2099, it's so visually different, was so awesome, just like that. Oh my gosh, that was so awesome.
Yeah, dude. No, it was dope. I also love seeing it like again, like him going off and then just cloaking. Just like, yes.
Yeah,
He's just gone. He's gone like a fart in the wind. None of you are gonna find him.
that's exactly how they pitched it in the meeting. How do you want him to disappear, directors? Imagine he's like a fart in the wind. I got it. Pops out
Oh my
Spider-Verse.
Oh my god. But no. What it's funny though, because when Hobie first left, right? I thought Miguel or not Miguel.
Hobie?
Yeah, when he's like, I'm out. Like I quit. Then he took off his
Yeah.
time travel thing and dropped it. I thought
He thought he was gonna
Miles was
pick it
gonna go
up.
back for that. I didn't even think about the
feel
go
like-
back home machine.
Yeah, I feel like that was probably the best call because I feel like as soon as he put that on, Miguel could
They'd
track him
recognize,
or just like
yeah.
tell like have some restriction that wouldn't let him use it or like turn it off
Yeah.
or something like that. But yeah, the go back machine was a good call and it was a good setup from earlier when he saw that. I was like, what is that?
Yeah. I also like how he's
Yeah.
trying to rizz up Spider Bite out of nowhere. Like he's
Yeah.
he's good with Gwen, but he's just like, hey, like his tone drop like he's like, hey,
Yeah,
I'm
he
Spider.
does a shoulder tap. Hey,
He tries to, but because he's like all just like
it just phases through her.
like projection, he's just like,
So he's 0 for 2 on he's 1 for 3 on that move because the first time he tried it he ripped Gwen's hair off.
Yeah.
The second time he actually succeeded because he defeated Kingpin with the move, and the
Oh, yeah,
third
that's
time
true,
he
that's
phases through her. Yeah,
So maybe it only works against guys. Miles,
Maybe.
take note.
I haven't been this hyped for a cliffhanger since Infinity War. Honestly,
Yeah, dude. Honestly,
I
it's
am a little upset because in Infinity War, that came to me as like, oh my gosh, like I thought the movie still had so much runtime. I can't believe it's over. Like I just lost myself in the movie. I was losing myself in this movie, but then the random guy next to me in the theater like turned his phone on. I saw it was like 1:10 in the morning, and I started my movie at 10:40. So I was like, oh, like I'm almost done. Like I like checked it, like took me out of it, and I was like, come on, man. Like, but yeah, not a huge
Yeah.
complaint. I still was like. There still was like a lot of movie at that point. Like I think he still hadn't even gone to home yet. Like I think it was the Miguel train fight, so like he still had to go to the other universe, and then there was a whole twist. What else are we gonna talk about? Did we talk about visuals enough? I feel like we haven't talked about visuals enough. Like the attention to detail.
yeah,
in
dude.
Every single frame is incredible. Like did that in the first one. Like I seriously just want to give props. Like so many things are happening on screen at such a high level, but they're happening so quickly, and they're also working so well seamlessly together that you just take it for granted and accept what's happening. But there's so many high level things that are happening for just us like normal folk to experience and appreciate it, that I have to shout out everyone that worked on this to like make that happen. Like it's incredible. It's like it's so many high level things happening that we just appreciate and take for granted that work so well together because they're working at such a high level. Like yeah.
One of the things specifically that I liked most about this one compared to the first one is even though each universe had its different feel, it still holistically like made sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
there's purpose behind the design of everything, which is also awesome. Even when he got to Earth 42, like when Miles is going through also like that whole sequence to where he's like freaking out and he's like web swinging and there's like it almost felt like a Mysterio illusion with all the stuff that was happening going on. And like the way that the like later on when like all the tentacles like went and like crossed each other and like everything was like compressing around him, like really showed like Miles was like really getting deep into his mind. Everything felt like he was closing in. And then he broke out of the glass. He's like, no, I'm going to keep on going. It's just like, yes. I also love just colorization too. Like it was everything we've seen from 42 was either green or purple.
Yeah.
Which felt similar to 1610, but obviously wasn't it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait, when did you realize it? When did you realize that he was in the wrong universe?
When, again, my mental state wasn't as heightened because I was taken out of it because of the phone and I was sick and it was 1 a.m. But I noticed like when she said, "Who's Spider-Man?" That's when I knew. I was like, yeah, he's on the right universe, which I still think is a little earlier than some people. Cause like I heard people gasp when Miles said,
when
"I'm
he
not
like
in my
glitched?
universe."
Oh
Yeah. When he glitched, like, so he glitched after I noticed. So I noticed before the glitch. But like when I saw the glitch, I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Dude, that's one thing. Like, as soon as I saw that number on the screen, I'm like, "Oh, he's gonna get fucked up."
Yeah.
Like I knew it. Like I knew it straight up. I'm like, he's gonna be in for a ride. He's gonna think he's home. Like the whole time he's like swinging stuff like that. I'm like, Miles, you're heading home, but this
is the real No Way Home.
Oh my god! It's like that meme where like all the Star Wars movies have the wrong name.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna do that with all the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Oh my god.
Shall we jump into? We're talking about music. Oh, another tidbit about music. So I watched another interview with the 3 directors. They said they let their younger like kind of music producer find and recommend newer artists to them. They like relinquish control because they are like kind of older guys and they realized they didn't know like the best musicians, like younger, new up and coming musicians for that era. And like I'm so glad and it's so cool to see that like they trust their team enough to like relinquish control, because I think that led to an elevated experience. Yeah, because they like recognize like, yeah, we don't know like the scene, like we're not in it, so like we let this guy choose, and he found like a bunch of like up and coming SoundCloud artists, and he like knew the scene, and the directors even said like it was cool because we got to like rediscover new music and like kind of reinvigorate like our sense. It was like new pop from like when we were younger, and we got to like feel that again, seeing these new artists and working with them. So I think that was just really cool, and just shows that these directors have like a good mentality from what it seems like.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything specifically else you want to talk specifically about the movie? I have some.
What did you think about when the Miles at the end was revealed?
I thought it was really cool. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. It felt like a lot's going on. I was like, oh my gosh, like another villain. Like we have the Spot, Miguel, and now like this new Miles. Like I'm interested to see where it goes. I don't want to like predict too much, but yeah. What do you think?
I mean, I knew Miles was the Prowler in that universe.
Yeah, as soon as he like, when Aaron was like, "I'm not the Prowler," and like it.
No, even before then.
I don't know when I knew.
Like,
but
as soon as Aaron pulled out the phone and he's like looking over at Miles, like he's calling up the Prowler. Like and the Prowler would then be Miles in that case. As soon as that happened, and then Miles is looking back and he's like, he could tell something's up. And then he got hit by himself. There's also a big question. Wait, I didn't even think about this. Did his spider sense trigger to himself?
It did. I was just about to say that I didn't, which is going to be bad if he's fighting himself.
That's so weird. That's so weird to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I want to ask, do you think this will win the Oscar this year?
Dude, if it doesn't, I'm going to break somebody's kneecaps. I swear to God.
I mean, so far, this competition is the Mario movie. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it better win.
Mario can suck my nut, okay? I'm just gonna say it. I'm sorry,
dude,
Chris Pratt.
This movie just makes me want to make movies. This is another like inspiring one where like I want to create art like this, animation.
I want to be in the world. It made me feel like a kid again, where I wanted to be Spider-Man and just go like pew pew, whip, and just like jump off furniture and shit. That's literally what I felt like, dude.
This just opens the door to like what is possible beyond what I thought was possible in the medium. Like I'm excited also to see how this trickles out to other movies. Like we got Puss in Boots because of the first Spider-Verse. I'm excited to see like what crazy new movies we're gonna get because of this Spider-Verse. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I just want to like thank everyone that worked on this, like making this incredible piece of art and history. Like I cannot wait for the next one.
Yeah, Sony knows what they're doing. They're definitely, yeah.
Do you have any other wrap up final thoughts?
Well, I actually wanted to ask you about this. So I know it was originally there's a lot of back and forth with how the scheduling was originally set up and how it was going to be cut. Because wasn't this originally supposed to be 2 parts, and then there's going to be like the 4th movie, or
no? I don't think it was supposed to be a 4th. I think it was just supposed to be 2 parts. Like, well, they originally said that this was supposed to be 1 movie, and then when they were making the movie, they were like, this is way too big to be 1 movie. So then they split it into 2 parts, which was part 1 and then part 2. And then when they realized Gwen's arc was like its own movie, they were like, this isn't a part 1, this is part 2. This is Gwen's movie, so it's its own movie. And then the part 2 is the finale. Like this is the conclusion to Miles. So it's not part 1, part 2. It's like 2 separate movies. It's a trilogy. Yeah. That's how they're like splitting it. That's how the evolution I think happened. If that is your question.
Okay. Yeah, no, that does answer that. I think that's a very concise way. And now actually, like seeing the movie, it makes sense to why they chose that, and I think it's a very smart choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Beautiful.
Any other wrap-up thoughts before we jump into the next segment? Well, let us know in the comments what you think of Spider-Verse also.
I know. We'll end with this then, dude. Okay, since there was the bagel that carried through, right, to this one, it had such a big like butterfly effect.
Yeah.
What butterfly effect do you think is going to be happening in the next one? Like, what little thing? What tiny little thing? I'm thinking it might be the Miguel like burger, maybe. In that one shot. Yeah, when Miles is running and there's like a Miguel burger, there's like the buns are like Spider-Man 2099's like face, and he like steps on it, slips on it as he's running away from like the other spider people.
I don't know if they'll do another like small can event like that, or like small butterfly effect like that.
I don't think they will either. I'm just saying, if there was one, what do you think would be it, and why?
Maybe try thinking like a small detail. What was like a throwaway joke? Like maybe like the chai tea, like maybe because he like insulted chai tea, like something butterflies, and like I don't know. I have no idea.
Miles drowns in tea later on. Jesus, yeah. Jake.
Yep. Maybe what's like a small joke that was funny? The throwaway thing.
What was it? Did you spot the spot, or did anybody spot the spot?
Maybe like ATM machine or something. Like something will happen where like
the
like
spot's killed by the ATM machine.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that makes me so hilarious.
Yeah.
It kind of like falls on him and gonks him in the head. Oh my god.
All right, shall we jump into the next segment?
Yeah, man. What we got this time?
I have a TTT for the first time in a while related to Indiana Jones, since the new one's coming out soon.
Lay it on me.
Did you know that Steven Spielberg was told he couldn't direct a James Bond movie, and because of that, it led to him making Indiana Jones?
No, I didn't know that. Why was he originally told nay?
So early on in Spielberg's career, he desperately wanted to direct a James Bond film, and he even pitched ideas to the owners of the Bond franchise, but they rejected him. They said he was way too young and didn't have enough experience to direct a James Bond movie, and I think also at that time, only British directors were allowed to handle the Bond franchise. Spielberg was very upset and confided with his friend George Lucas, who told Spielberg that he was cooking up an idea for something that was even better, James Bond, but with an archaeologist. So Spielberg loved the idea, and Lucas let him direct Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Indiana Jones became one of the most successful and well-beloved film franchises of all time.
Heck yeah, brother.
And also, that you would see some of the James Bond influences in like in Raiders. Like that's why in like the first movie, when he's like in the classroom, like all the girls are like fawning over him because like James Bond was like notoriously like a ladies' man. And so like they wanted to like have some of those influences, I think, and they were still left over from the original draft of the script.
Are you saying you wouldn't swoon over Harrison Ford, whether or not he's a Bond type or not?
I would. I've been rewatching all of them for leading up to Indiana Jones, the new one, and like, dude, Harrison Ford has the look, man. He's doing something to me.
You've got the touch.
Yeah.
You got the power. Yeah.
I'm considering going as Indiana Jones for Halloween or something for Spider-Verse. Like, I feel like those are my two options now.
Dude, I'm telling you, I just started going to the gym with Nikki. Just went again today.
Yeah. How'd it go?
Dude, went pretty good. I didn't do it too much today. He had to go bounce and do some with his parents, so we just walked a good bit and catching up. Because he had his birthday and all that, so we were catching up on that. But, dude, I wanna get rid of my gut a little bit, and then, dude, if you see me in a Miles fit, you know, I'm just saying.
Dude, you should do it. This is a good amount of time to like start doing that before.
That's what I'm saying. You
should go ham and do it.
Yeah.
All right, we can both be Spider-Man, or I can do Indiana Jones. I don't know. All right.
We could both be Spider-Man.
Ooh, I'll be Indiana Spider-Man. Not to be confused with Indian Spider-Man. Indiana Spider-Man. All right.
That'd be very interesting to see. Like, imagine the Indiana Jones movie, but it's a spider person. Like, fighting Nazis and stuff. Oh my god, that'd actually be pretty dope.
That's kind of like noir a little bit.
Noir, yeah. But, like, that'd be...
I mean, he kind of has the hat. Like, I don't know.
But he's
Maybe I should go with Spider-Man Noir. That might be a good middle ground between Spider-Man and that. I don't know. All right. But I don't want to sound like Nicolas Cage, like have to do a voice like that all night. Actually, that might be fun. All right. Are you ready for patron shoutouts?
Yeah, hit me with them.
Keep that with Stars Music, Boosh got patron, Lori, Frank, Rick, Lisa, Evan, Tony. Thank you so much for pledging the tier. That gets you the shout out. If you like to explore us over on Patreon, like you saw in the description, we get the audio episode early, special benefits, cool perks, all that jazz, and more. Thank you seriously, sincerely to our patron supporters. Also, if you guys are still here, I would really appreciate it if you're on the YouTube video, leaving a like or leaving a review if you're on just listening to audio. I've really struggled through this episode with my voice, so I really appreciate a like or review or something. If you feel so inclined, you don't have to, of course. It's never mandatory or anything.
I feel like you did pretty good this episode, Jake. Like, it came out sometimes, but like you're pretty solid throughout.
Thank you. Just like Nicolas Cage. All right. Ready for cool comments?
Yeah, what we got this time?
So we have a few that I wanted to highlight. So Holly Collins on our MCU phase ranking episode commented, first time viewer / listener, literally felt like I was listening to my friends talk. Agreed with so many of the rankings and need an update post Guardians Volume 3. So thank you, Holly. Welcome to the show. Very glad you could join us. So I think they were saying like they need an update of our phase ranking now that Guardians 3 is out. I think we'll do I think we'll do an updated ranking once Phase 5 is over, but right now, Phase 5 is 50-50 for me. Like, Ant-Man's low, Guardians high.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Next comment from Josh McIntyre on our fictional food episode. They said, amazing episode. Congrats on 150. The Krabby Patty is lower on my list now, knowing that it's vegan and not some mystery meat or something. To be honest, I'd rather have the crepe thing they made in Ratatouille rather than the actual Ratatouille. I might agree with that, honestly.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Zach Henry on our fictional food episode said, congrats on 150 episodes. I've been listening for around 70, but every single one of them were a banger, and I look forward to listening to many more episodes. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that. And then Josh McIntyre also again commented on our geek quiz episode with my sister. They said, you mentioned the movie trivia part before the trailers at the cinemas. Do you guys not just have ads and then trailers then the movie? Because I think he might. No, I think they might be in Australia. There's usually like the movie trivia. I think if you get there like really early.
It depends on the film or theater line that you're in, right? Because AMC does
the movie trivia.
Yeah, but I don't know if other ones do. So it depends on what theater chain you're in.
Yeah.
That's weird to think about too. So it's funny to think about. We're talking about multiverse stuff today, but it's just like other countries do things like subtly differently, and it's just like, oh man, that's its own little different multiverse there. You know, for some reason they all speak differently. What the heck? You know?
Yeah. I think if you get there really early, it goes like ads, movie trivia, trailers, then the movie. Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying because sometimes they just push the movie start really late. All right. I have one bit of post banter also. Disney just did some more layoffs to like cut costs. And among the Pixar layoffs was a lot of the team that did Lightyear, including the director, which was Angus MacLean. And also remember we did that TTTT where I talked about that producer that was like pregnant on Toy Story 2 and like saved the film? She was one of the ones that was laid off.
Really?
It's just crazy. Yeah, like she saved the company so much money back then.
What the heck?
Yeah. Anyways,
How old is she now?
probably like, well, she had a kid around when we were born, like in the 90s. So she's probably like our parents' age, maybe a little older.
Yeah, fair.
All right. Ready for the introduction?
Yeah, tell me when.
When?
We just talk about what we want to talk about, and now we're done. Blah.
Thank you seriously, sincerely to everyone for listening. We really, really appreciate it. We'll be back next time. I'm not sure what's next. I don't want to make any promises because I got sick and like threw off the schedule. But currently, if I remain healthy, next week is The Flash. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
See you next time. Goodbye.
I'm probably gonna watch Spider-Verse after that. Not gonna lie. Cleanse my palate.